Hey everyone, I'm Psychosap and welcome back for round 9 of the F1 2022 calendar series following the Canadian Grand Prix. Now Canada actually has a couple of different racetracks, but currently we are racing on Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, which is actually built on a man-made island. The circuit actually got its name after home Canadian driver Gilles Villeneuve tragically passed away. Facts apart, this is a great track. It is a straight and quick track and we have a lot of opportunities for overtaking. So let's see how it goes over this weekend. Let's hop out on a set of soft tires and we'll see how it goes. Now as you can see, I haven't been doing so great this weekend and some of these fast speed corners have been difficult for me. So let's see how it goes and let's see how the race pace is as well tomorrow. So first lap out and we do cut the corner again, the exact same corner as I was just speaking to you guys about. And with that we managed to grab a P7. That is not bad, but for this car it shouldn't be so low. So let's go again, give it another shot and see if we can improve on that time. I honestly do not understand why I'm not so great at this track. To be honest, even when I used to play F1 mobile racing back in the day, I used to be so bad at this track. Anyway, we're about to finish our lap and we're not quite up on our previous time. So we're not going to be expecting any better positions and we're going to be starting P7 guys tomorrow.
What a race we have in store for us today, with a competitive field ready to do battle once again. Hold on to the edge of your seat. It's time for another Formula One Grand Prix. If you want flat-out racing, you've come to the right place this weekend, as it's full throttle for 59% of this 2.7-mile circuit, peaking at around 210 miles per hour going into the final chicane. But that speed requires discipline, and there are more than a few close walls here just waiting to punish drivers with a heavy right foot. And I'm delighted, as always, to introduce Anthony Davidson, who'll be taking you through all the action alongside me today. Why don't we kick off by discussing Max Verstappen?
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? And let's see who's able to keep their tyres in that temperature sweet spot early on. You've got a great tyre warmer underneath your right foot, and the drivers need to make the most of that on the formation lap, lest they see themselves skating wide at turn 1 on cold rubber.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid we have Bottas, Ricciardo, Fernando Alonso and Norris, Leclerc, Perez, Sainz and Pierre Gasly, Ocon, Vettel, Lance Stroll and Giovinazzi, Tsunoda, Raikkonen, Mick Schumacher and George Russell, Latifi and Nikita Mazepin. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Alright guys, let's get started for the race. Set up the car, start warming up the tires and brakes, of course, on the formation lap, as well as set up the car for the race, tires, strategy, as well as fuel load. Now this track has an interesting few opportunities for overtakes. There is of course a major hairpin towards the end of the circuit, but of course that doesn't mean you can get your move done, because we have a massive long straight right after that with the DRS zone, and then of course we have the pit straight. So just because you made your move doesn't mean you can actually hold on to it, because there is of course another DRS zone. So let's get started then. 5 lights for the Canadian Grand Prix, and it's lights out and away we go. We get an awesome start. Even though we're physically starting towards the middle of the grid today, we have to make as many positions as we can to try and get the best possible result for Red Bull. So we can see almost rear-ending the McLarens because they have so less traction. Maybe they didn't warm up the tires as much as I did. But let's see if we can make some more overtakes. We get ahead of one of the McLarens. I'm guessing that is Danny Ricciardo. But I'm going to have to focus on conserving those tires, because those quick high-speed corners really need that grip. So let's take a quick replay of the race start then. So at this stage I think we haven't made any overtakes, but there we almost rear end the McLarens. and then we actually get ahead of one of them in the next few corners. So that's actually a good overtake. We again almost rear end the McLarens. The McLarens seem to be struggling with a little bit of grip, so maybe we should be able to get ahead of them really quickly. So this is the massive DRS straight that I was talking about earlier, which comes right after the hairpin. And of course there is a quick right and left hander right after this, followed by the pit straight, which is another DRS zone. So these are really good opportunities for overtakes. So we didn't manage to make an overtake right there. Let's see if we can try again this lap. For the first few laps is the best opportunity for overtake, after which I'll start losing all that grip and overtaking wouldn't be all that easy. So we can see Norris locking up, which actually lets me go ahead, and of course his teammate as well. And now the McLarens have to fight it out between themselves. Let's see who comes out ahead. At this point it's really hard to tell which one's which car, but I'm guessing it's Daniel Ricciardo who stays ahead. And of course we don't have DRS, which is quite a big advantage here. And of course it will be enabled only after the third lap. So like I said, making all the overtakes before the 3 laps is super important. So we seem to have another duel right up ahead, and we can see if we can make an overtake on them, because they are dueling between them, which is actually slowing each other down. And we go late on the brakes, a little bit of tire bumping right there, and I think the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton has actually lost out a lot there. But it does seem like he got great traction out of that hairpin, because he's actually side by side again. He's overtaking us back. He's actually making the double overtake that I just pulled off back on me and the Alpine. Fantastic racing from the AI of Mercedes. Let's watch that replay back again. Lewis Hamilton pulls aside me, and of course the Alpine, he just has so much straight line speed. But of course we go deep late into the brakes and we take that place back, and of course we just shoot past him because he actually lost some of that traction in the corner. That's great. Let's see if he fights back, because he does have great straight line speed, and that is lap 5, and it's time he's gonna pounce back. It also looks like the Alpine lost some positions, because he was right behind me, and now he's overtaken by both McLarens, and Lewis Hamilton makes contact with me. What happened? Let's take a look at that. So he's clearly so far behind me, and I don't know why he went for that really tight move. There was no way he was going to make that overtake, and I was lucky to not be taken out by him as well. So that actually caused a safety car, so there's a pile-up of a couple of cars right behind him. So no one actually expected that to happen, and didn't expect Hamilton to go for such a small gap. So everyone pits under the safety car. Of course, it was almost time for everyone to pit anyways. It's been 5 or 6 laps. So we can see everybody slowly coming into the pits for fresh medium tires. And that's actually going to make it quite interesting at the safety car restart, because no one's going to have quite an advantage over each other right there in the midfield with me. So let's see how it goes. A couple of laps behind the safety car, keep the tires warm, and let's go back at it then. So here we are, safety car has gone in and we are green, and it is again another opportunity for overtakes. So we make the first move on the Aston Martins. Of course, after the pit stop, a lot of people have actually shuffled positions. We can see some of the Ferraris back there, but of course, since I was one of the first cars to pit after the incident, I quite maintain that position. So let's see how it goes. We can see Lewis Hamilton back at it again. He did not get any damage from that incident, which makes it interesting because he's gonna pounce back. He does have pace, like I said. But before that, he has to get ahead of the McLaren, which he might be able to do, and someone just locked up. I think the McLarens have been struggling with pace, like I said earlier. We can also see them making quite a few mistakes, even though everyone's on the same amount of rubber. So let's see if Hamilton gets ahead, and he has gotten ahead of the McLaren right there. It was quite an easy overtake for him, I'm guessing. So it's lap 15 now, and I've been on these medium tires for about 5 or 6 laps, and we are starting to drop some of that grip, and we're getting a little bit squirmy, and Hamilton's looking for an overtaking opportunity. But of course we're closing all the doors possible on him. But of course the DRS zone is here, and I don't think there's going to be much of a defense here. But let's see, he does have great straight line speed, so he should shoot past me. So we're going to have to make an attempt to keep him at bay, and we've done that so far. Let's see, there's a next DRS zone, and he does actually get a better traction out of the corner. I did go a little too early on the brakes in that previous corner, and he does get ahead of me for a split second, and he makes a mistake. He goes wide, and that gives me the opportunity to go back and get back that position. He's gonna have to try again. Let's take a look at that replay then. He does get quite ahead of me, but then he turns in too early and he actually has to go wide to make sure he doesn't cut the corner and go off the track, and that gives me the chance to get back in and take that position. Now the most important question is, there are 2 more laps left. Will I be able to keep him at bay? Because it is quite evident that I'm lacking some pace. ERS conservation also plays a major factor because all that defense is really difficult without it. So here we go, Hamilton actually tries to make another attempt to overtake me, and I'm still right there side by side being able to hold that position, and there's actually tire bumping right there, and that was quite a bit of a mistake from my side because I went a little bit wide and I drove into his side. A little bit of a racing incident, but of course we do maintain that position. So let's take a look at that replay again. So he clearly does get ahead of me, but I brake late again to make sure that position is not completely taken away from me. So then I go a little bit wide and come back and bump tires with him by mistake. And of course he's not happy about that. But then of course we continue side by side and we do a little bit of a corner cut there to maintain that position. But then I do believe that there wasn't enough room for the both of us to pass through that corner without getting onto the grass there. And it's the last straight of the race and Lewis Hamilton gets ahead. And will he be able to get the position? No! He actually has to brake early to make sure he doesn't cut the corner, and that gives me the chance to get it back, and that is a podium for the Red Bull again. Let's take a look at that replay. He's quite far behind, but with that DRS and straight line speed of the Mercedes, he gets straight past me. But then he has to brake early because I'm still side by side, and that gives me the chance to get ahead. What a race, beautiful overtakes and so much action. I actually got the vibes of Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen from the first 2 rounds of the 2022 season, but of course we haven't been seeing much of that action these days. So let's hope Ferrari can pull it together and give Max and the Red Bull a good competition. Thanks for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed the video because I thoroughly did. Also do consider dropping a like and a subscribe, and of course go ahead and watch the previous episodes which have all been amazing races. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.
There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.